Okay, we are still in an uptrend, but we are near a resistance line of the peak that we see right over here. So just want to be really cautious in our trading. And it just was moving really slow this morning. I started at about 8:45 and it just like hardly moving at all. So that's usually a sign that people are uncertain and perhaps the bulls are going to be losing some ground. But you never know. All right. What's really interesting here, if you can zoom in on the 1-year chart here, you can see we had a dip back in March and April, and then it recovered. And then we had this other dip here just recently in July, and we can see that it actually hit that 180-day SMA. So it actually held at that support and it bounced off of that point. We are kind of at an interesting point right here because we are at another resistance level, but we're lower than the highs that we have had, about a month ago. So I decided might be a good idea to go ahead and draw in the Fibonacci line while I was waiting for a good opportunity to get into my first trade. And I thought it was pretty interesting. I drew it from this trough here to the peak, and then this trough here. And it laid it out at almost exactly the same points that we see a lot of our supports and resistance levels. And we are now actually sitting right at, you can see it right here. And unfortunately, I don't know why the line is not there, but you can see the numbers are there at 88.49 or 88.50. That's the Fibonacci line peak, and it's just like really struggling to get above that point. It zipped up there a little bit, but not very far. I would say it's not able to get through that Fibonacci line. So I just think that's kind of interesting. Just be really cautious. All right, so I've been kind of waiting all morning for it to peak out and then drop. And here we can see it developed and we have had a big drop. So I got into a short. It's a little bit late, but not bad. The MACD is just now starting to turn. So I got into a short here and we got 30 seconds now to the opening bell. I put in an exit order down here and it looks pretty good. I also have a stop order in to protect myself in case I was wrong, but I'm really thinking I'm not. I think it's really going to drop. It did end up going up here. I raised up my stop level just because I really thought that there was probably going to be a drop coming. The MACD kind of touched and then it bounced up and now it's touching again. And oftentimes when you see that, like right here, it took a while to break through, but when it did drop, it was pretty big. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. And my loss point for this point will be, the max loss for my day. I really don't want to lose any more than that, but I can still tolerate that. Okay, so as it dropped, I lowered my stop and put it pretty tight there. And it did continue to drop some more. And I started to get a little concerned because it did have that big upward movement. I was concerned it wasn't going to drop as far as I was hoping it originally was down here. So I moved my limit order up to get out at a very small profit. So I made 62 on that first trade and I'm out. And I also drew in, you can see the green line here, the price line, that it seems to be kind of following. There's only 2 points and then just this little bit right here has just been kind of following it up. So it's not a real good line to follow, but it is interesting. The other thing to note is the MACD on the 15-minute chart here, as well as the 30-minute chart. They're both looking like they're going to tip over and drop. So there's multiple reasons to think that we are possibly going to be dropping, and more than even just what we're seeing right here. Okay, but it did seem to bounce off of this point. And so as soon as I saw that green candle, which formed pretty quickly, I went ahead and put in a limit order, had to chase it a little bit. Eventually got in, put in a stop order, 1 tick above that, so I won't lose any money. And I'm thinking it'll probably get up, to that point right there, possibly. And actually that's right where the Fibonacci line is. but the stop was just too tight and I got stopped out. So I'm out of that trade. Didn't really make anything, didn't lose anything, just paid for my commissions essentially. And it, not surprisingly, continued to go up. So I got into another trade at almost exactly the same point that I got out. And this time I do not have a stop order in because I was a little more confident that it was going to go up, on the very short term. Again, keeping in mind that it's possibly going to be dropping here soon, or that we will hit that level, that Fibonacci level, or this red line level, and really struggle to get up. But anyway, okay, so it's going up. I'm making money. I lowered my limit order when it started to hesitate because I just wasn't sure what it's going to do this morning, trying to play it cautious. It's a little bit of an iffy market this morning, and got out. And so I made some money on that one. And this is interesting. I saw this news article pop up here, and this is going to definitely affect the trading that I do. There is the release of the minutes from the Fed meeting, and it's due on Wednesday. So that is something to keep in mind. I don't know at what point on Wednesday that will be released, but something to definitely watch. I'll put that on my schedule to watch. Okay. So this order, as soon as I placed it, I looked down here at the MACD and it's like, oh, I'm not sure that was the best time to place a short order, but I did. And it went up for a little bit, but then it had a nice big drop. And I got out at, again, a very small profit, trying to play it very cautious. Only made $25 on that one. And I got into a long at that point. Oh, excuse me, that is not correct. So I made 87 something on that one. And then I immediately switched gears, got into a long at that point because it did look like maybe it was going to bounce off of that line. Went up a little bit, put in an exit order up here. There's no stop because I was kind of getting the swing of things here. It's just like not going anywhere very far and making very small movements. So I was pretty confident that it was going to go up at least to this point, which is a great trade. Lowered it down. Even that's not a bad trade. So that took, and I made 75 on the last trade. So I made 5 trades, which is a little bit more than normal. All of them were positive, and all of them, except for one, was really little, under $100. That's kind of an unusual trading day for me, honestly, but I feel like I did really well. I played it cautiously. I never was at any point at a loss position of more than $250, which is kind of what I'm trying to aim for. I do have a larger tolerance if, once in a while, but I don't know, just pretty happy with today's trading.